High winds kept us from going offshore today, but being opportunist here, downtown Baton Rouge catfishing this week on Sportsman TV. Well, you know, the plan was today originally was to go to Venice and we were going to fish offshore for yellowfin tuna and, you know, whatever else we may catch. And, you know, here the last week or so, we've just been blessed with some 20 and 30 mile an hour south winds every day. And you just can't go offshore. And so typical with this show, we're opportunists. You know, so there was an opportunity. I actually spent last week, you know, farther north on the Mississippi, camping and doing some catfishing, some trot lining, and the bite was really on. So I was like, you know what, it's an opportunity for us to go right here close to home, you know, and do some catfishing. I've realized that my boots have a hole in them, so I'm gonna need to go to Bowie Outfitters and get me a new pair of rubber boots. See, the cool thing about catfishing here is you can catfish, go to a casino, whatever you want to do. We downtown, get us a hotel room right in downtown Baton Rouge. I mean, this is the life, man. The life of the Baton Rouge catfisherman. You know, fish are biting, period, this time of the year. Sac-a-lait, bass, catfish, everything's biting. You know, it's just that time of the year. The deal is right now, this time of the year, the water in the river is really, really cold. And those fish have a tendency, you know, their metabolism's not running real fast. So what I done was I picked a place just out of the main current. This is a deep hole. The river makes a big bend here. And we're on the deep side, like the river. This is the deepest part of the river in this section. And there's just a small backwater that goes out. And the river's falling right now, so it's pulling clean water. The river's pretty dirty, and it's pulling clean water out of this backwater. And I went in and picked the line where the river water is meeting the clean water coming out, and there was a little bit of current breaking over that point in there. It's just a good feeding place. You know, a catfish is a predator just like, you know, any other fish. He's set up on a place where it's easy. You know, he wants to just be sitting there waiting and let the bait come to him, and that's the kind of place I put the line in. I'm not seeing a lot of action right now. That's not a... You like to pull up there and see that line, that tree shaking. Are you kidding me? Yeah, there's one on it right there. I put them out right before dark yesterday afternoon, you know. You know, so they just fished last night. Pretty good channel. But it's a quick way to catch a mess of fish, you know, too. Pretty channel cat. Pretty fat, you know, organically grown catfish right there.
This is Ryan Terrio. I'm here at Bowie Outfitters, and listen, I'm an avid bow hunter. If you're looking for a place with the best service in the South and wonderful accessories, not to mention a top-of-the-line bow range, Bowie Outfitters is a place for you. A wonderful staff here and great service at Bowie, but an awesome selection of guns. We have pistols, rifles, and shotguns, and everything else you could imagine. And for all those hard-to-find bass fishing and inshore products, Bowie Outfitters is a place for you. That's Bowie Outfitters for everything outdoors, in between Essen and Bluebonnet on Perkins Road.
Do you want the better selection and bigger savings? Service Chevrolet Cadillac has the largest inventory of Chevys in Louisiana. You can choose from over 300 Silverados, all in one location. The Chevy Silverado has the best pickup coverage in America and the lowest cost of ownership of any full-size pickup on the road. Shop the better selection and get bigger savings at Service Chevrolet Cadillac, 1212 Ambassador Caffrey, or visit us at servicegm.com.
Fishing. It's where good stories come from. It's about good times and family and friends. It's about taking a couple home for dinner tonight and saving a few for tomorrow. It's all about that and so much more. To CCA, fishing is about enjoying today and making sure tomorrow is even better. To us, fishing comes with a responsibility for the resources we enjoy so much. If fishing means all that to you, then you belong with CCA.
Don't just be a sportsman, look like one too. Men, women, kids, everyone wants to look like a good sport. And now you can find it all in one place without leaving the house. Our popular Sportsman logo clothing and accessories are just a click away at LouisianaSportsman.com. T-shirts, caps, polarized sunglasses, jewelry, koozies, and more are available in a variety of sizes and colors. It's easy to show the world that you are a sportsman. Visit shop.louisianasportsman.com today and get that perfect sportsman item for yourself or as a gift for that sportsman in your life.
Trot lining for me was something I had the opportunity to do at a very young age. Not me myself, but I'd go with my father. We trot line, we'd put trot lines out, run them in the morning, run them in the afternoon, rebait them, and it's just a lot of fun. And the cool thing about it is you got all those hooks fishing for you all night long. You back, resting at the camp or whatever, and that trot line is working for you. It's a great way to catch a bunch of fish. It's a very active way to fish. It's funny, but it's very exciting because when you go up there and reach and grab on that line and there's something on there, you don't know what it is. And the cool thing about it is this line is fishing while you're doing something else. Like yesterday afternoon, I brought Luke, who's my youngest son, come with me after school, come set it out, I see this catfish here isn't as big as that last one we caught, but he's a lot more active because this water's a lot warmer. And he's a small catfish, but he's a good eating size. And a lot of times, like the bait's going off of this line. There's a lot of bait going off of it. That's a good sign. It means there's a lot of fish around. And that first line we run, wouldn't any of the bait gone. There's another one up there. I do recommend if somebody getting into this, you take somebody with you because you are dealing with a lot of hooks in that long line, and you need somebody with you in case. You know what? That's a netter right there. Old fat girl right there. We don't want to let her get off. I did notice another thing. See, I rotated the bait on these hooks. Like one hook had some shrimp, some dead shrimp on it. One hook a crawfish. The other hook worms. So far, the worms are doing all the damage. A catfish is an opportunist, kind of like we hear on Sportsman TV. I mean, he will take whatever he gets a shot at. That's kind of the way we roll. I'm not saying that we are the catfish of the sporting world, but in a way we are because we don't cull anything here on Sportsman TV. Oop, there's two right there together. That's what it is. I thought it was one big one, but it's two right there together. Man, they pretty. And look, it's a different species. Like, that's a total different species of catfish from the first two. I think the way the deal reads, they have to be 14 inches long and it's 100 a day per person. So, so it's kind of twofold. That water's warming up, the river's falling. It's a big flooded backwater area off of the backwater, the main backwater we were in. And so I just cut off that area with the line, put it all the way across it. Because everything draining out of those woods, all that bait and the crawfish is coming out as the water warms up, everything's coming out. Those fish just sit out there and wait for that stuff to come to them. Oh, look, there's another one right there. Man, it's funny how one area is so much better. Like that first area, we pulled that first line up, it looked kind of grim. There's one catfish on it. Now we've pulled this one up, we've got 5 or 6 off of it. That's a little one here. We're gonna put him back and let him grow up. Well, any bait shop out there sells good catfish bait, from trot line shiners, goldfish, whatever it may be. Most any fish market in the country, they'll have some shrimp and they keep them and freeze them. Even though those fish where we caught them at, they've never seen a shrimp before. They're typical Louisianian. I mean, they get a chance to get some shrimp, they're gonna run for it. It doesn't matter where they live at on the river. They know what it is. Same way with the crawfish. This time of the year, mud bug's hard to beat anywhere you go. Cajun catch, that's where I get all my bait. No, the deal is I enjoy to catch them, with a seine or whatever, and I didn't have time, so I cheated a little bit yesterday, and I just stopped by Cajun Catch in Gonzales and bought 2 pounds of live crawfish. It's funny, trot lines used to me to be a nuisance. I would watch my daddy, he would cut a piece of paneling and stick the hooks on because the hooks stayed on the line all the time. Well, now, these lines, you just, what's so easy about it, I go set the line with no hooks, and then you just clip the hook on the line. There were 5 fish on the line, and then all the other hooks were empty, so we rebaited it. We go and pole fish, we noodle some, we come back about 2 hours later, it's got a couple more on it. And what got me was in the daytime, normally catfish are kind of nocturnal. They do better, they do well at night, but we had a cloudy day today, it's warm. Again, it's that time of the year when fish are biting. They just kept getting bigger. This will be the 3rd time we've run this line, and I was just going to ease by and see, there he is right there. and see if, man, it's such a hot place right here for some reason. Big goo. Another big goo. Are you kidding me? The goo have moved in on a hot spot. Oh, it's a big one too. Nice goo. We don't cuddle anything here on Sportsman TV. We're going to keep this one. I mean, that's enough to feed 4 or 5 of my kids. You got a family as big as mine, every bite is important. Won't even fit in the bucket. The other cool thing about it is you're tied to that fish when you pull up that line. You know, on a rod and reel, the fish is fighting on the rod and reel or whatever, and that's great. But that line, you know, that's kind of, it's not prehistoric, but it kind of goes back in time the way we started fishing, you know, with a hand line. And, you know, so you feel, you know, you got that fish on a short line. When you pull that big catfish up, he's there. I just was pulling it up to see if there was anything, you know, anything else on there. He looked good. Now, I might big at him a little bit, but, oh, yeah, look at that. How about that? That's the way that's what I'm talking about, some catfishing right here. That's a good one there. He's on that crawfish.
Why Buoy Outfitters? Our customers know why.
When you need something, you come in, you ask for it, and you can get it. Great selection of clothes here, guns, shells, calls, whatever you need. I like coming in and doing that. And more importantly for me, I'm a big bow hunter. I think these guys are better than anybody. That's why I come over to Buoy Outfitters.
That's Buoy Outfitters. Perkins Road between Essen Lane and Bluebonnet. Buoy Outfitters, for everything outdoors.
You want to see the bullet for a $500,000 gun? Chartreuse Blackback KVD 1.5. The bait that Kevin Van Dam used to win his 4th Bassmaster Classic. Load it. Shoot it. Set the hook.
Money in the bank, baby.
Quality, performance, value. Polaris has it all. Whether you want a hard-working Ranger, smooth-riding Sportsman, or razor-sharp Razor, we've got a full line of industry-leading machines, all priced hundreds less than you'd expect. Right away on a Polaris Sportsman 400 for as little as $56.99 during the Polaris XP sales event. See all the great deals at Polaris.com.
Louisiana Sportsman Magazine. For over 31 years, your source for fishing and hunting information. Each month you will find stories by local experts on everything from bass to redfish to ducks, deer to trout and turkey. We've got incredible local information that you can use immediately to get more success outdoors. You'll also enjoy monthly columns on cooking, the latest lures, GPS locations, shooting, kayaks, and much more. Have Louisiana Sportsman delivered to your house and safe. $24.99 gets you a full year of Louisiana Sportsman. To order today, visit louisianasportsman.com.
We're going to start with the fuel system. It's probably one of the most important things right now going is your fuel lines, your primer bulbs and stuff like that. We want to check our fuel lines, make sure our fuel lines still got a little soft, it's not real hard. You'll get these fuel lines that with this ethanol fuel that they're running nowadays will actually build a little thin wall inside of the fuel line, and it'll actually restrict the flow of fuel and cause your motor to be surge and slug and not run to 100% of its potential. Could possibly lean it out and cause engine damage. So what you want to do is check your fuel line through here, go all the way to where it goes into the cowling of the motor. And we know with these new power poles and the runs that we make nowadays, how rough everything is. What you want to do is come through each and every bolt, steering bolts, motor bolts. Motor bolts is jacked to the jack plate where the jack plates are together. The last thing you want to be doing is cruising down the bayou at 70 miles an hour, look back over and see that you have one bolt broke or something like that. A lot of these high-performance boats and stuff you'll have is these hydraulic steering systems. They're great. Man, makes fishing easy, steering's easy. You're not all Popeye arm when you get down there from the old school of steering days. But what'll happen is you'll get a slack in your motor. When you get that slack in your motor, one thing that I would recommend doing is you can take and go to your steering wheel, turn your steering wheel all the way to the right, purge it down, turn it all the way to the left, purge it down. Do that once or twice each way. Turn it down, get on the helm up there, and you're going to fill it up with hydraulic steering fluid. Once it's full, screw your cap back on because it's a pressured system. It's got an O-ring on there. You screw that down, you go steering it, and it should take all of the slack out of your motor. One thing I see today is, seen it quite a bit, the bolts and stuff on the lower units are coming loose. Whether it's Mercury, whether it's Yamaha, it doesn't pick a name brand and say, I'm going to take this motor and fall off. You want to check those before you take off, especially if you're making long runs and stuff. Tighten all of those up real good and tight. And then getting on down to the prop. One thing you want to do with the prop is pull the prop off. If you get monofilament behind that prop, it will actually eat that seal up and cause water to ingest into your lower unit. Then you could have major problems. You could have busted pinion gears, busted forward or reverse gears, or you can knock a hole out the side of your gear case. So with all of that right, John, to give you quick maintenance stuff that you can do at home to check these things out to make your day on the water a whole lot easier.
Well, this is a store-bought noodle. You can make these, you can take those kids' inner tubes and you can make 3 or 4 out of one. You know, they look just like this, and you just cut them in 2. I have you can run a piece of wire through them, you know, to tie your line on. Big thing of trot line hooks, I mean, $3, there's enough to do 100 noodles. But I also carry these, you know, because a lot of times your hooks get bent on the trot line. So I always carry a box of these to, you know, if I need to put a new hook on my trot line. It's a piece of white line, and as you can tell, a catfish is not a sight feeder, so you don't really have to worry about the line, how I tied the knot. Just make sure it's on there good. And I'll put that on there and throw it out and watch it. Nope. Not the biggest one, but still. I hate to say it, they all good eating size. You know, you can have a group of people doing it, and you can be laughing and just having a good time, and, you know, have those out fishing kind of like the trot line while you're busy doing something else. It's kind of the best of both worlds and keeps everybody entertained. Ooh, it's some big old fat one. That's nice. Look at that. I mean, it's like they swallowed a watermelon. And those are not big catfish. You know what I'm saying? Like, look how small their heads are, but look at that. Well, the deal is the river was down real low last year, and there's just all that, if you could imagine, all this is grown up out there. Like, this was all dry. Like, everywhere we've been is like that, and those fish are feeding in the tops of those coffee beans. So, you know, I'm using relatively a lightweight, and all it's doing is kind of hanging. Those stems are 4 or 5 foot tall, and that weight is hanging in the tops of them. Like those fish on that trot line, I got that trot line laid, it's right on the top. Those hooks are laying right down on the tops, and those fish are just, they're not on the bottom like they normally would be, because it's all grown up out there. It's hard to believe, but that's all solid coffee bean stems. And you know, basically, I mean, I'm using worms. I do find, like, that's a crawfish, and when these crawfish die, I'm still using them, but I'm peeling the top cap off, you know, the head of the crawfish off, so it exposes the meat part. You know, in my mind, it just, you know, they're all big-time scent feeders, and it just gives it a little more smell. You know, I'm exposing more of the meat, so the crawfish has some smell. There he is. Finally. You know what? I could just barely feel that weight on there. I don't know if it's because that water's so cold or what. Ooh, some good one, too. Catfishing, downtown Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The thing about it is we've had a bunch of high wind, which makes, you know, regular fishing hard to do when the wind's blowing that hard. I mean, these catfish are hungry, they're moving up, they're getting ready to spawn. Just a perfect time, you know, and they're so healthy. And I'm telling you, it's hard to beat these catfish. This time of the year, the water's still pretty cold. And, you know, comparatively the way it'll be in the summertime. And they're good to eat. Man, that's all I can say. It's either hung or it's a good one. Oh, 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 oh. But that's the main thing, you can tell. Like, not all these catfish are females. Like, some of them are big males. And that right there, that's just eating. I mean, that's all they're doing. They're just in them woods eating. Look at that.
Why Bowie Outfitters? Our customers know why.
Bowie Outfitters is a friendly place. Bowie Outfitters is a very personable place. When you walk in the front doors, everybody's telling you hello, and it makes it very easy to come in here and shop and be a customer and go to the archery range and go to the gun counter just because you're going to get personalized service.
That's Bowie Outfitters, Perkins Road between Essen Lane and Bluebonnet. Bowie Outfitters, for everything outdoors.
Hey everybody, it's time to dig into Lafourche Parish, Louisiana. Lafourche is the place to go to enjoy some of the best fishing in the world, to get authentic Cajun food made by people who know what real Cajun is all about, or to spend time with family and friends at our fairs and festivals, or take a drive down the longest street in the world, Louisiana Highway 1, to experience everything from plantation homes, swamp tours, Cajun French-speaking communities, and attractions. Go to diginlafourche.com. Dig in.
Do you want the better selection and bigger savings? Service Chevrolet Cadillac has the largest inventory of Chevys in Louisiana. You can choose from over 300 Silverados, all in one location. The Chevy Silverado has the best pickup coverage in America and the lowest cost of ownership of any full-size pickup on the road. Shop the better selection and get bigger savings at Service Chevrolet Cadillac, 1212 Ambassador Caffrey, or visit us at servicegm.com.
LouisianaSportsman.com is the South's premier hunting and fishing website. Planning a hunting or fishing trip? Visit LouisianaSportsman.com and get up-to-the-date information on weather, tides, or solar data. Our breaking news and continually updating forum will keep you up to date. Or visit our report section and ask the locals what's been biting and where. Need to sell or buy an outdoor item? LouisianaSportsman.com's free classifieds are the quickest way for you to reach the outdoor market. LouisianaSportsman.com, the quick way to get the most of the outdoors.
You know, that's the cool thing about living in the state of Louisiana. We are where the Mississippi River ends. All that nutrients is dumped here. You know, from the floodplains, when it floods out in the woods, from the deer hunting, the squirrel hunting, you know, making the mass crop huge, the turkey, the ducks, and then the fishing, from the catfishing, how good it is up and down the river, all the way to where it dumps out at Venice, where, you know, honestly, it's the reason that our snapper fishing, our red fishing, tuna, it's our livelihood. I can't honestly say if we didn't have the Mississippi River, would we be the sportsman's paradise? I really honestly believe that. We have the best. I mean, our fish grow fast, our bass grow fast. You know, when you catch a bass here that's that long, he's as deep as he is long. You'll notice that with the catfish caught today. I mean, they're this big around. You know, some of them's heads are only that big and then they just blow up behind it. I mean, I know what it is. It's all that nutrients. You know, they say up and down the Mississippi, there are places where the topsoil's 20 feet deep. There's no other place in the country like that. And every year we get a flood and it just keeps replenishing itself, you know. Look at there, look. Yeah, some good one too, I think. Looks pretty good. Look at that, another big one. Man. Look at that. Another big old channel cat. I'm talking about we are, you know what, I'm just gonna go on and say it, we loading the boat. And it really don't get any better than this. You know, what started out as a slow morning has turned into a hammer day. I mean, we got a box of these. And I'm feeling another one throbbing on there right now. I'm gonna put this in a live well. Well, you know, the cool thing is about the catfishing, you have a lot of options with the trot line, the putting the noodles out, and the pole fishing. You know, the cool thing, I set the lines out yesterday afternoon, baited them. We run them first thing this morning. You know, from there we set the noodles out, then we're pole fishing. You got the noodles working. It's a cool way when you only have a short period of time to really maximize your day. I mean, we got rods fishing, we're catching them that way. We got noodles fishing, catching them that way. We got 50 hooks on 2 trot lines out, catching them that way. We made the most of every minute of the day. There he is, big one, big one, big one, big one, big one. How about that? It is a big one. Dang, that sucker must have been hung in that stuff. Oh. Huh? Huh? How about that right there? I may not have to sell old Betsy after all. Dang it, man. You believe that? That sucker was hung in that stuff. I went to pulling on that stuff and I was like, it is one. You know, I was playing with it. I think it's the biggest one so far. God. Another testament today for the Mississippi River and how fertile it is. You know, from the deer hunting, the red fishing, the big catfishing that we were on today. It's just hard to believe that all that exists right around the Mississippi River. It's just the vein of the United States. It's the most fertile body of water, without a doubt. Join us here next time on Sportsman TV.
As fishermen, we're predators, and fish are the prey. In nature, the best fishermen have one thing in common: their eyes. How do you turn your eyes into the eye of a predator? It takes 11 layers of lens technology and a new lens color to make the human eye emulate the eye of a predator. Stop buying glasses for the classes. Make yourself an alpha predator.
Don't just be a sportsman, look like one too. Men, women, kids, everyone wants to look like a good sport. And now you can find it all in one place without leaving the house. Our popular Sportsman logo clothing and accessories are just a click away at LouisianaSportsman.com. T-shirts, caps, polarized sunglasses, jewelry, koozies, and more are available in a variety of sizes and colors. It's easy to show the world that you are a sportsman. Visit shop.louisianasportsman.com today and get that perfect sportsman item for yourself or as a gift for that sportsman in your life.